Hold on just a second. Okay, I'm gonna pull up this stream so I can see who all's on. I'm not doing this to have any drama with Katie. Don't like Katie, but I'm not really trying to have drama with Katie. It's not about that. But I keep seeing these posts. I don't follow Katie on anything, but I keep seeing people sharing like the things that she's saying. And I'm like, where did she get this from? Where did she hear that from? Thing is the situation is bad enough. You know, it really is. The details that we did hear were bad enough. Wow. Hold on. My thumbnail picture didn't change. Hold on. Did my thumbnail picture not change? Normally when I'm uploading a video, I just take a picture of my shirt and then I upload my thumbnail afterwards. Because it don't just let you upload the thumbnail right then. If it does, I've never figured out how. So I always like do my shirt, and then when it gives me the option, I'll do my thumbnail, like whatever I've made for it. I had no idea that my thumbnail is still showing up as my shirt. That's pretty funny. Yeah, that's what it is. Oh well, I'll change it later. Hey to everyone coming in. So this morning, I was watching Wooden Eagle, and Wooden Eagle is one of my friends. She is a creator that has spoken out a lot about, you know, just the controversy, the craziness that Katie puts out. She doesn't like it. She doesn't agree with it. I don't like it. I don't agree with it. How many hours a day do I report? This is my job. So like when my kids go to school, my routine is I put my kids on the bus, and then I go and take a shower, brush my teeth. Kennedy usually wakes up after I get out of the shower. We eat breakfast. I spend a little time with her. And then, well, usually I spend all morning with her because we spend time together. And then I go into the bathroom and I start doing my makeup. And she's usually in the bathroom with me, putting on makeup or playing or whatever. And then whenever I come to sit down at the desk, Sean kind of takes over from there. And then I usually work until the kids get home. So I look at this as a job. So this morning when I was in the bathroom, like getting ready, Wooden Eagle was on, and she was talking about, you know, Katie's tweets, some of Katie's tweets. And I saw them on Twitter yesterday, and I'm like, where is this coming from? I was in the hearing, and I took a lot of notes, and I know a lot of people, there were people saying like, hey, taking notes, was that against the rules? I don't think so. The judge did say no screenshots, no recording, but I'm not sure if notes were against the rules. And the reason why I would think that they weren't is because there were media outlets there, and those media outlets, I'm pretty sure they took notes. I mean, some of the reports that I've watched on this, the notes are like word for word for some of the things that was said. So I'm thinking taking notes was okay. I hope it was okay, because I took some notes, you know, and I would not want to go against the rules. But I heard a few things. I've heard a few things that Katie is saying that I just want to set straight, because I don't, like I said, this information is so bad as it is. So I wanted to do this live just in case anybody had any questions. Like, hey, I saw that Katie tweeted this. Did this happen in the hearing? I can tell you guys yay or nay. I saw that Katie apparently said that the judge told Josh, if you violate any of these orders while you're out, I will lock you up for an additional 10 years. That was not said. I do have what was said, but it was not, I'll lock you up for 10 years. So what she said was if he violated, you're such an amazing woman, wife and mother. The reason you are where you are is because you are authentic. Others, not so much. I love you, your subs, mods, and all your members. Love you so much. Thank you so much, Lauren, for the super chat. Thank you. I appreciate that so much. I wonder if I can change my... I cannot believe. I cannot believe I left it as my shirt. Now you guys know my secret. I put my thumbnail as my shirt every time until I'm ready to go live. Okay, so what was said though, what the judge actually said, she said, don't make me regret this. It could add 10 years depending on what he done, but the judge never said that. So she said that he would face penalties if he violated these restrictions that you put on him. She said it could lead to your immediate arrest, a forfeit of your bond, additional imprisonment, fine, or both. And then she said if you commit a felony, it could be 10 years could be imposed. Could be. If it's a misdemeanor, it would be, I think, up to a year. And if he violated, any time that he got would run consecutively with any time that he was to get from this case. So, and then she talked about that. She said, so she said the one of the charges that he is facing has a minimum of 5 years, and the second charge that he's facing is up to 20 years. So I think in total, from what I understand, he is looking at possibly 25 years, right? So what she was saying is, if you're found guilty in this, you will be looking at this amount of time. If you violate any of the stipulations I've set forth while you are out, you will be possibly immediately arrested. You will forfeit your bond. Additional imprisonment, fine, or both will be added on. And depending on what happened, if it was a misdemeanor, it could be like another year, up to a year. If it was a felony, it could possibly be up to 10 years. So she never said. I had to refer back to my notes because I was like, I did not hear that. And let me tell you guys, when I tell you I sat my butt in this chair the whole time, I sat my butt in this chair the whole time. From the time that I got on, I did not get up to do anything. I held my bladder for like 2 hours because I was scared to move. I was like, and we went on recess. So there was like 2 recess. And during the recess, I would check in with my mods. Hey, court's still going on. But during the proceedings, you weren't supposed to be live. Like, you weren't supposed to be on social media telling everyone what was going on. And it's so wild because Katie had started, she had planned the stream, right? Katie had planned the stream. I think myself as well, I planned to go live as soon as the hearing was over. And me, I was thinking, oh, this is just a detention hearing, which they will figure out if he's going to stay in jail or he will be released on a bond. Oh, 30 minutes an hour, right? We'll be done. No, that's literally what I thought. So I thought, okay, 30 minutes to an hour, then I'll go live and I'll tell everybody what happened. So my mods were like on standby. I did not schedule the live stream because I did not know when it would be able to happen. But Katie apparently did, and she was in the chat of her stream, like giving updates. And she literally said, and you guys, this is mind-blowing, my mind is blown all the way back. She said, the judge said no one could be commenting, like no one could be live right now relaying what's going on in court. And if they are, they would get in trouble. And I'm like, that's exactly what you're doing right now, Katie. Like, as you are typing this out, court was in session. And you were saying, like, hey, nobody's supposed to be doing this. And if they are, they're going to get in trouble. And that's exactly what you're doing. Kennedy just got back from Walmart, you guys. So if you hear her, I apologize. But, so, like, I was just like, also, the things that she's saying that Josh was watching, I'm going to be clear with you guys. The only person that talked about what was the content of what Josh had on his computer or what was on the computer. The only person that even gave details was the Homeland Security agent.
Mom, look!
Oh, don't come and scream. She needs a shirt on, Sean. I see, baby. You got a Peppa Pig drink?
Yeah.
I love that. I love that so much. That's so cool. Did she have a shirt on? Someone last night said you use your son's name and computer to watch this. I said, there's no way. It was you, KJ. Maybe I can see. Oh, probably what they meant was so we have a computer in the front and the back. The one in the back is what you could call my son's, I guess. And when I got my kids are in school though, all except my 3-year-old. So during the Zoom call, I use my son's computer for the most part for work because Sean will be on like the front computer sometimes doing his schoolwork, right? So I actually was back here in my like where my son's room is and on his computer, and I watched the hearing from my son's computer and on my phone. I actually got in 2 ways because I was scared that I was scared I wouldn't be able to get in because I'm not, when it comes to technology, I'm not good at it. I know people's like, you're a YouTuber. It don't matter. I'm like one of the, I don't know technology. So I was like, I'm going to try to get in on 2 different devices just to see if I can. And then I was concerned about being kicked off or something happening or my phone ringing. So I was like, I'm going to get on my son's computer to watch the Zoom thing, and I'm going to use my phone to do it. So I didn't watch anything. Like my son, by the time my son got home, I mean, he got home during the thing, but nobody come back here. Sean let them know when they got home from school, like, hey, your mom's working back there. She's listening to this case. You guys got to stay up here. So my son never come back here to see. But I watched the hearing from my son's computer, but no volume was on it. The only way you can hear on my son's computer is if you have a headset on. So I watched on the computer, which is a bigger screen. I watched on my phone, which is a smaller screen, and the audio was actually coming from my phone. But yeah, by the time my kids got here, like they were up front. Yeah, I don't know why me watching the hearing on my son's computer would matter. I don't really know. But yeah, so there was a few things that I wanted to get on here because I'm like, the things that she's saying. Okay, so it was just the agent that described the details of what was on. Now, the agent said there was one file that was terrible. He was like, this one file contained images of children, toddlers as young as 18 months old. He never said what those toddlers were doing. It just said that it was images of children, the youngest being 18 months old, and the oldest being, I think he said up to 7 in those, I think. Let me see. But he never said those children were doing XYZ. Those children was being, it literally just said, he said on one of the files, which was one of the worst ones, he said in my thousands of cases that I've worked, this one file was one of the worst that I've seen. He said it's in the top 5 of what I've seen, okay? And he said the children was between the ages of 18 months old, and I think he said 7. So he never went into detail about what that meant, like, or what they were doing. So when Katie is reporting that, because she literally, Katie tweeted that a kid died during one of the things that Josh had on his computer, that Josh watched a video of a child being tortured to the point to where he was killed, or she was killed, and that the child was a young child. I have no idea. And people are assuming that she's getting this from the courts. Like people, everyone that I've heard, like 5 different people say that she must have heard this, you know, in the court hearing. She did not. She did not hear that in the court hearing. The court hearing never said anything about Josh watching snuff films, ever. That was never mentioned. Not one mention. And they did say he downloaded Daisy Destruction, but they never said anything else about it. They named some files, Daisy Destruction. The name Peter Scully never came up. So if Katie went and researched the files that they named, which could be what she done, the only way I think Katie would know exactly what was on these films and the images is if she actually wrote down the name of the files and then went and looked it up herself and watched it. That's the only way that I could imagine that she would know for sure what was on there. Unless Amy Duggar told her, and I don't know how Amy would know specifically, unless maybe Amy has spoke to someone that works for the government and the government has said. So that's the only way. They didn't even say that anything, like as far as the files, they never said what was on the files, just the ages. They only explained 2 files. 2 files they explained. And they said on one video, it was 2 girls between the ages of 7 and 9, both nude, laying on a bed. An older male figure entered the scene and one of the girls. Okay? And then he explained one other video. The only details they went in to explain what they know for sure that was on Josh's video that they actually explained was those 2 videos. They never said anything about anything else. They never said anything about snuff films. They did list names of the files. Yes, trigger warning. I'm so sorry. I should have gave a trigger warning before I even went live. I'm so terribly sorry. You guys, I apologize. That's something else. I saw where someone said, hey, Katie, you should really put a trigger warning on this because, like, I'm a victim and this has caused me stress. And Katie was like, don't follow me then. What? That's so rude because maybe this person wants to follow you and maybe she liked you. But being rude like that is just ridiculous. Like, people have PTSD from stuff like this. People get triggered from watching and reading stuff like this. So I really apologize that I didn't put a trigger warning on there beforehand. I do apologize. You know, that's the thing. Just someone concerned. Hearing 18-month-old and dark web, like, we know it's bad enough. We know that it's going to be bad. Marie, there was nothing in court mentioned about people being chained up. That's what I'm saying. Like, if Katie knows about these things, I don't know how she knows. And I don't know why she's sharing that right now. Because as far as I know for a fact.
Me got kitty cat.
You got, what do you got?
Kitty cat.
Oh, you got a little one.
Yes, we got a kitty cat.
Okay, baby girl.
Okay,
come
baby.
On.
Mommy's working.
Let's
Thank
stop
you.
crying. Let's let Mama work.
So, thank you all for all the time you put into getting us accurate details, LB. You are welcome. I'm just, like, my biggest concern is, like, we know that it was terrible stuff that he was watching or that someone was watching. I don't want to get in trouble legally by saying he did it. I don't want to be sued, for defamation. So I'm going to say we know that the thing is, Sabrina, is I'm too scared to search those files because Josh was sharing those files and he got arrested for it. You know what I'm saying? So that's another thing that I wanted to talk about in the court hearing. The judge even said be careful. Like, she said something about those files, because on one of the screenshots, it listed several of the files, right? It listed it. It was government 3 and 4, I think, that a report popped up that showed the files and she said something about being very careful about the people seeing them because she did not want people to go look them up to see what Josh was looking at. So that's the thing is, I'm not going to search that because I don't want the cops to show up at my house. I don't want no. And
Yeah, don't look them up.
yeah, I'm going to believe the detectives when they say it's the worst of the worst. Now, could it be that there was snuff films that someone was watching when the guy did say it was the worst of the worst? Or it was the top 5, So could that mean that it was chains and people digging their own graves and someone dying, it's very possible. But the courts have not said that. So I don't understand why she's sharing that information when the courts have not said that yet. And if she wrote those files down and then went and looked it up herself, I think that's probably not the smartest thing to do, because you are opening yourself up to possibly being investigated for child pornography.
Here's the thing. I'm pretty sure, I don't know for a fact, I'm pretty sure that they would have brought that up if it was somebody being murdered in it.
I think if it would have been snuff films, I think if it would have been snuff films, I think he probably would have said he is watching snuff films.
Yeah.
Which makes it even worse because, okay.
That's a whole nother aspect because.
Absolutely a whole
especially
nother
in a bond
aspect.
hearing, because you don't want to release somebody who can potentially is that sick and wants to kill somebody. You know, and if somebody's watching snuff films, obviously they are getting off on watching somebody be killed. So if I was a judge, or if I was an attorney or a prosecutor, and I knew that's what was going on, I would say, hey, this dude, the evidence
points to this.
Yeah, points to this, and I do not think we should release him because there's no telling what this guy will do. He is not normal, which he's not normal regardless, but y'all know what I'm saying. Like,
right.
That's a whole nother level, I would think. I mean, all of it's bad enough. You know, I believe maybe, you know, if he's found guilty, I believe he should be put behind bars for the rest of his life. But if not, given the death penalty, really, but it's how I honestly feel when it comes to the child, you know what, and child abuse, you know, I feel like people should be given the death penalty. And that's just my personal opinion. A lot of people might not agree with it, but, you know, either way, if I believe that if that was part of the case, you know, I'm not saying it's not, but I believe that if it was, then the prosecutor would have brought that up, made sure that was out there for everybody to understand, especially when it comes to the bond hearing, because you're talking about releasing this person and putting him around.
See, that's the thing. Okay,
children.
so whenever they question the couple that agreed to be his third-party custodian, hey, Drez, and thank you, All Things Sassy. When they question the couple that agreed to be the third-party custodians, that the prosecution was like, you are aware that he admitted when he was 14 years old to hands-on allegations. Like, he said, yes, I put my hands on my sisters in a sexual manner. Like, you realize he admitted to that. And they even said, you realize some of the content that is on his computer has images of children as young as this. Like, they brought that up. So I would just have to imagine that they would have said, you realize he's watching videos where children are being killed in a sexual manner. Like, they're being sexually abused, and then they're being killed in the midst of that abuse happening. I just don't think, so I think if the prosecution knew that he was watching these, if they had evidence, it would have came up in the hearing. I think that. So I don't know why she's saying that. If she has someone that told her, I think it should have waited until the courts actually spoke about that. If she looked it up, I think that was not the smartest thing to do. But Katie has talked about knowing how to operate the dark web. She's talked about that before. So I don't know. But when I become aware of these things that was going out there that she was posting about kids being in chains and kids dying in these videos, I was like, where is she getting this from? And then I saw people talking about it saying, oh, they must have said that in court. They must have talked about that in court. They did not talk about that in court.
She wants to show you something.
What you got, babe? Oh,
Okay.
You got yogurt.
Okay, let's go back and watch TV.
Elle Bee, do you think? Yes, I absolutely think the wife felt uncomfortable. Um, she seemed uncomfortable, and one of the things that she said when they asked her, why did y'all make this decision? She said it was my husband's decision, and I'm just here to support that decision. And the prosecution was like, so is it actually your decision? Like, did y'all discuss this together? Like, whose decision was it? Did your husband say, we're going to do this, and you're just following along with that? And she said, rather than saying, no, it's both of ours decision, she said, look, we're here to help, and we're going to help in the best way that we can, So, Katie is another creator that she's talked about the Duggars for a while, and now she's gloating in the fact that this is happening. Katie has wanted to be right about the Duggars ever since she first started talking about how terrible they were, and I remember being so bothered that she was reporting this stuff about the Duggars, about all this, the CP and the essay. I was so bothered by it, because I'm like, you don't have like solid evidence. They haven't been arrested yet, so you need to like pull the reins in a little bit, because you just can't go on your YouTube channel and accuse people of this. I mean, okay, here's, Katie has an inside source to the family, but did Amy, her source is Amy Duggar King. Let's just be quite honest. That's who her source is. Everybody knows that. But did Amy know about all this? Amy didn't know about all this. Amy knew about what the public knew. Amy knew about the things with the sisters. And because now Amy is saying, I just recorded a video about it. Amy said, like, I wish I would have known. Like, I wish Jim Bob would have told us about, like, what he'd done to the sister. Because Jim Bob didn't even tell his sister and Amy Duggar King about what Josh had done until it came out in the open, until the public found out. What you got, baby? Oh, you got grapes? Y'all bought some grapes for me? Thank you.
For me.
Oh, for you. Okay. For you.
Not for you, I guess.
So, Jim Bob did not tell his sister and his nieces and nephews, like, hey, this is what Josh has done. If you guys don't want to be around us because of that, I understand. If you do and you want to be on guard because you know this has happened, here it is. This is what happened. And when it came out publicly, Amy said, I wished.
Mom.
Yeah, you got a big thing of grapes too. All right, Mama. Go put it.
You.
Oh, that's mine. Okay, good. Amy said, I wished he would have told us. That way I could have made the decision to stay away, because he was a danger. So Amy Duggar, I think she knew that Josh had this addiction. Just like a lot of the family members did, they knew that he had this addiction. But I don't even think Amy Duggar knew all of this. Because at first, when Amy Duggar heard about the arrest, she said, family is family. I'm praying for the best for everybody. But after the court hearing and those details were released in the court hearing, she posted like something else. It was more like justice needs to be served. Like, we are praying for those kids. You could tell it was a little bit like she was shocked too. I think everybody that was in that court hearing was shocked. But I want to be clear, while that court hearing was hard to sit through and there was a lot that was talked about, the only details that was given was the files. There was over 200 images that had been deleted off his phone that was saved in a space called unallocated space. They talked about another 65 images that he had on the computer. They spoke about the two videos with girls 7 and 9 years of age. They explained them just a little bit, and then they talked about one of the worst ones that they had seen, which was on the computer, the Daisy destruction, and it had 18 months old, as young as 18 months old, to I think it was, I don't remember exactly. The Daisy destruction was as young as 18 months old and maybe as old as, let me see, because I kind of want to be certain in what I tell you guys. it wasn't very old. 7. I think it was like 7. So her posting, I just want you guys to know the things that she's posting about the things that was on Josh's computer, wherever she got that from was not the court hearing. It may be true. I don't know. But they did not say that in the court hearing. So when you see these posts that Katie is posting, just know it was not said in the court hearing. All they said in the court hearing was the Daisy, youngest 18 months old to 7 years old, and then the 2 videos. But they did talk about, it was some bad stuff. They did, but they never talked about snuff films. They never talked about chains. And it's not to say that that's not true. I just don't know where she got that information. It wasn't the court hearing. Also, I do know, yes, use your own discernment when it comes to Katie. I just wanted people to know, because I saw a lot of people on Twitter, and even Wooden Eagle was like, I guess she got that from the court hearing. And I'm like, no, she didn't. That didn't come from the court hearing. And I'm not trying to defend Josh. This whole thing is terrible. I have 6 children, so sitting through this and hearing it, obviously I thought about my kids. I thought about his kids. I thought about babies in general. And it was hard to listen to it. Sunshine, my mods, if you've gotten timed out when you didn't need to be, a lot of times the chat moves so fast. If they're trying to get somebody above you or below you, they could accidentally get you. And sometimes YouTube holds comments, you guys. So just know that as well. I have a lot of people that'll leave me comments and be like, hey, why did my comment get deleted? I'm like, no, it didn't. It didn't get deleted. YouTube held it. So my mods try to be really good about not censoring people. Sunshine Days, if you got timed out for no reason, I guarantee you it was an accident. Because the mods are usually very good about... oh, okay. CC said, you can't call people idiots or names to people because you don't like them. Okay, let's try to be nice to everyone in chat. That is something that we try to... we try not to censor people, but we also try to keep the chat... Try to be nice to each other. Even if we don't agree on some things, let's just try to be respectful, because this is a lot. This whole thing is a lot, you guys. How do you feel after the hearing? Are you emotionally okay? Let me tell you guys, Sean come in here a couple times during the thing, and I was just like, oh my goodness, like this is a lot. Like I was on the verge of panic attacks several times. I was on the verge of tears several times, and I was just trying to like keep my composure because I was writing so much. Like Sean would try to come in here and like say something to me, and I'm like, no, just go, because like this is a lot, and I'm trying to like listen to everything, and there's a lot going on, and it was a lot. Yeah, well, Nicole, all she said as far as being concerned about his sisters, she said that he could not be around his sisters or their kids because they have young kids. And when she said sisters, I think she meant like the younger sisters that he has, like the younger siblings. When she said anything about concern, she meant like the allegations from his past. She was like, while you were not convicted, knowing that you admitted to that is concerning to me. Knowing that you've done that is concerning to me. And that is something that the court has to think about, even though you were not convicted, because you did admit to it. So that's concerning to hear that you've done that to them. But I don't think I ever heard her say, like, I'm concerned about you being around your older sisters or anything like that. Thank you, All Things Sassy. I got them done the other day. So, yeah, I just wanted people to know. They talked about Daisy destruction. I don't know if there's one Daisy destruction file, and this is exactly what's on it. The name Peter Scully never came up. So I don't know, but I'm not gonna look that up.
They said, I was in there for that part, and they said that that Daisy Destruction is like a known. It's one of the most known. I don't know. I don't remember exactly how they worded it, but basically that like a lot of stuff is named that. Like it's like a brand almost in that in that
Dark web. I don't know.
in child. It's like almost like a brand.
CP.
Yeah, and it's like it's one of the most known things ever, but it's called DD, but it stands for Daisy Destruction, but it's called DD, is what they said, and it's like highly known in the law enforcement. I think he even said internationally. Didn't he? Did he say internationally? Do you remember him saying that?
I don't remember.
Why
Sunshine
did
said,
they
please don't tie me out again just because I don't like Crystal Ann. Um, just don't call her names. Even if she's like somebody that you believe to be a troll. I don't know Crystal Ann. I did see someone earlier saying that Crystal Ann was a troll. Crystal Ann, I don't know you. I don't know if you're a troll. I don't know if you said something that got some people upset. Just be nice, you guys. That's all I ask. Ann is saying something, just alert the mods. Or if anybody is saying anything, being rude or whatever, mods, can you check this person? Can you keep an eye on this person? And if you're the person that someone says to keep an eye on, if you're not doing anything wrong, don't take offense to it. There's 727 people in the chat. I probably should have put it on slow mode. I apologize. Yes, Sean is just as invested in a lot of this stuff as we are, as I am. Yeah, they worded the file as DD, but they did say Daisy Destruction because Sean was in here and he was like, did they say Daisy? Did they say Daisy? Because Sean plays a game called Days Z.
Yeah, Day Z, like zombie.
He plays a game, DAYZ, and he's like, did they say Daisy? Did they say Daisy? And I'm like, get out of here. I'm like, they said Daisy, so, yes, I will let you know what shampoo and conditioner I use at the end of the marula oil. I spray marula oil in my hair and it gives this really healthy, shiny look. But the shampoo and conditioner that I use is, what is it, babe? The shampoo and conditioner I use? Oh, gosh. What is Crystal saying? I can't see Crystal.
Argan oil.
Argan oil. Argan oil in a blue bottle.
But you put marula oil in your hair.
Yeah, marula oil is really what gives it this healthy, shiny look. Because my hair wasn't always like this. Oh, God. And that's Shvek. I don't know how you pronounce that, but that very well may be true. But that was never mentioned in court. All they said was, listen, he has this file that was downloaded on his computer such and such day at such and such time. And it's one of the, in my 10 years of being on this force, and over the 1,000 cases that I've worked, it's in the top 5 of the worst. They never said what was on it. I'm not looking it up because I don't want to get in trouble. Yeah. If you look this stuff up, you could, that's how Josh got caught with this, you guys. That is literally how Josh got caught. They have a lady that works in investigations on the computer who literally watches for people to look this up. So I don't want to look it up and get in trouble. But I just have to say, they never said it. So I don't think Katie should be putting this out there yet because she was in the hearing for a while until the end. She was in this meeting. She was in this hearing. So anytime anybody that was in this hearing says, this is what Josh was doing, this is what they found on Josh's, you guys are going to assume that we know. Because we heard it. You guys are going to assume that the court said it. You guys are going to assume that we heard this in the hearing, right? Because we were there. So, and a lot of people has. A lot of people have said, I guess they said that in the hearing. And it's like, no. They did not say it in the hearing. And the 18-month-old, it wasn't just one 18. They said on the Daisy Destruction, it was as young as 18 months old. There was children as young as 18 months old. So it wasn't one in particular. It was, multiple. So I just want you guys to know, if you see the things that she's tweeting or posting on her IG, they never said that in the court hearing. While it may be true, while it may very well be true, that there was people in chains, that there was, I do believe, like Sean said, if he had snuff films on his computer, I feel like they probably would have said that, like, hey, look, there's snuff films on there as well. But it's possible.
I mean, it's very possible. I feel like once you go, you cross that line that far, especially 18-month-old. I mean,
yes, Janie, from what I understand.
I would not doubt it in the least. And remember when we first discovered that all that stuff existed? Like, I watched a video on YouTube that was talking about all this evil stuff, like child that are done to children, and children that come up missing, and the whole what's it called when people are kidnapped and then sold? Can't think of the word.
Trafficking,
like the human trafficking aspect, and how that there's been there's people that are into child snuff films basically. So it's highly possible. I mean, to me.
Thank you, T. Spearsy.
To me, the fact, okay, the child, whatever, is bad. It's really bad. It's horrible. But he was watching baby stuff.
I knew that, Tamara.
Which is terrible. Even what, and I don't know.
I did not get kicked out. Sorry, Sean. Keep going. I'm reading
I
comments.
was just talking about that he wasn't, I wouldn't even classify some of the stuff that he was watching as child. I would say baby. You know what I'm saying? And
it was 18 months old as a baby.
That's terrible. I mean, how can you get worse? But it seems worse. You know what I'm saying? How can you get worse than child? Whatever. But it seems worse. And then there's snuff films, and it's highly, I mean, if he's watching that stuff, I wouldn't put it past him. But they didn't talk about it in the court hearing. They didn't say anything about it. So, either way, the dude is a sick, twisted person, allegedly, and if he gets proven guilty, I hope that they throw the book at him, and I hope they throw him in general population, so the other prisoners will take care of him.
They'll take care of it, yeah. I want to answer some questions. Anybody that has seen anything that Katie has said and you want me to clarify, I'll try to, because I know things are being put out there that could be true, but it was not said in court in the hearing. People are asking, did Katie get kicked out of the hearing? Well, this is what I can tell you. And this is what I was told. That because Katie was literally live tweeting in her chat everything that was going on pretty much, as she said, you guys, they said we cannot be on social media as the hearing is going on. And anybody that does it will be in trouble. Josh just said, yes, ma'am, and smiled at the judge. Josh just said this. The agent said it's the worst he's ever seen. She literally was doing what she said you couldn't do. But yes, she was reported. So one person that I spoke to actually called in and... okay, so this is after the last recess, Katie was not there anymore, and I didn't know that. I wasn't looking for Katie. I mean, when I first got on, I checked to see who I was there, but as time went on, I was just watching what was going on. I would look up at Josh when they would say, really bad things about what they found. When they was describing the 7 to 9, I looked over at Josh to see what he was, if his face changed, if he dropped his head or anything like that. And he didn't. He was very smiley the whole time. And I don't know if that's just the way that, but maybe he was nervous. So he that's the way he was handling it. Sometimes his face went off the thing. So, oh my God, T-Spiracy, right? So what I heard though was someone called in to someone. I don't know if it was the clerk of court. Maybe it was Josh's attorney. I'm not sure, but they went on a recess and they said, okay, we just kicked her out. Katie, when the recess come back, Katie was not there. But then a few minutes later, Katie was tweeting it again, which I would have to assume Katie probably called Amy King and said, I got kicked out. I can't hear anything. And probably Amy King probably set her phone down, put it on speakerphone so Katie could listen to the rest of it, because I don't think Katie got back in. So I think the way that Katie finished listening to the rest of it was she called Anna, and Anna put her phone on speakerphone so she could listen. But let me tell you guys, when people realized that she was still tweeting after it was confirmed that she was kicked out to the lady that called, they called back and was like, she's tweeting again. So then the courts kicked out, was like trying to see if Katie was back in, and they kicked out someone else that I know that was on the Zoom call that didn't have their name listed. So someone that I know that was on the Zoom call just put her name as like a period, because she knew that like other people would be in there and she didn't want her name up on there. So she put her name as a period, right? Well, that person got kicked out. And the court, like they was like, we're trying to find out how she's back on here, so we can get rid of her. So I'm believing that the person that her name was just a period, I think they may have gotten rid of her thinking that it was Katie. Yes, because, and I don't know that for sure, but what I know was that they called and said, listen, Katie's tweeting this, she's live tweeting this, her name's, this. And they said, okay, we kicked her out, we just got rid of her. And when the host kicks you out, you can't get back in. It says, the host kicked you out. So I imagine Katie realized she couldn't get back in. Katie frantically called Anna King. Anna King said, here, I'll put you on speakerphone so you can hear. So Katie went back to tweeting it. Katie said she had some technical difficulties at one point. I think her technical difficulties was she was getting kicked out and could not get back in. So when it was called again, hey, when it was, hey, Katie's back on, she's tweeting again, they was like, what? We don't see her name. Where is she? And they was like, oh, this person's a period. Let's kick her out. Maybe it's her. Elle Bee, they know about Amy too. I did hear that now Amy and Katie have been reported and that they are looking into it. I don't know. Did I say Anna? I meant Amy. Anna was not there. Let me tell you guys, the only technical difficulties we had was at the beginning, and that was before it ever started. So they came on, they said, okay, we're about to get started. The judge said, do we have Josh here? And Josh said, yes, Your Honor, I'm here. And she started talking, and her mic was cutting in and out. She was talking to Josh. Mic was cutting in and out, and Josh said, Your Honor, I can't make out what you're saying. So the prosecution was like, hey, Your Honor, your mic is cutting in and out. We can't make out what you're saying. She said, okay, hold on. I'm going to go off for a little bit so we can get this fixed. They were off for about 26 minutes, come back on. Her mic was working perfectly, and things went smooth sailing from there. There was no technical difficulties, nothing. If I said Anna, I meant Amy. I'm so sorry about that.
You know what?
Yes, when it first came on, and Amy was talking. I don't know. She was talking. When the Zoom call first came on, her mic was on and she was talking.
You know what bothers me is they said that the maximum sentence for one charge was 5 years, and then the other was a potential of 20.
Up to 20.
Yeah, up to 20. So what was the minimum for the second charge? And my thing is that even though he might not have been the one participating in it, you are supplying a market when you look at that stuff. And you're basically taking part in an innocent child, being done wrong, in a way that's going to affect them for the rest of their life. It takes away the innocence of that child and destroys that child as a human being, And it happens to a lot of people. unfortunately, you know, it happened to a lot of people I knew when I was growing up. It happened to both of us when we were kids, you know, like, not on that level, you know, where anybody was recording it or anything like that, you know, just whatever. But this, these children are being done in a completely different way than what happens, you know, a lot. Like, they're being used as like slaves and like recorded, and you know, and this is terrible. So him taking part in that at all is, to me, the same thing as doing it.
Pretty
But
much.
you know, the maximum.
Because these children are still victims.
I think the minimum was 5 for the one.
On one charge, I think it was a minimum of 5 on one charge, and then the second charge was a maximum of 20. I think I have it wrote down somewhere.
I know they worded it weird because it was like the first charge was a minimum of 5, the second charge was a maximum of 20. And I was blown away. I was like, that's it? Like, so we're talking about this dude literally might only serve like 5 years in prison. When you think about it, if the maximum was 20, okay, he might get 15 years, but how much of that time is he going to serve? Federal time, I think, is like 80%, 70%, I think. I don't know, but I think you might be able to do things to like drop time off, like go to school or, you know, stuff like that. Either way, let's say all he got was 15 years. How many victims did he take part in, you know, them being victimized and destroyed? You know, like, imagine the fear and the confusion and, you know,
I don't even want to.
you go to school, you know, when I went to school, you know, there was always kids that were like, you know, they never looked you in the eye and they kind of held their head down and stuff like that.
Right.
And, like, looking back, I wish I would have been like nicer to them, because I wonder, you know, after knowing everything that I know now, I wonder how shitty their childhood was, like how crappy their house was when they went home, and you know what they had to deal with. And I don't know, it's terrible. It really bothers me that that's all the time he could get. I honestly believe that people like that should be put on death row, and I don't know. At least put in general population. We shouldn't protect these people who victimize children. You know, you shouldn't give them their own prison for them to sit in with a bunch of people like them, so they're protected. When they had
me and Shine do have a little bit of different views when it comes to like the death penalty, because I don't really believe in it.
Well, I believe in it 100%. Especially for people like that.
Yeah. I mean, I believe that vengeance is God's. I believe he will be dealt with appropriately when the time comes. Sean's more of like, you mess with my kids, I'll kill you personally, you know. Which I get it. Well, as a mother, I get it.
Any kids, period.
Yeah.
I don't even like a lot of kids, like, you know.
And it's hard not to be like, oh my God, that's what he was looking at. He needs the death penalty. It's hard not to, you know, but I just have to remind myself of why I don't think that way.
Well, I don't think that the death penalty as a sentence is necessarily vengeance. I think it's justice on earth once you've committed, crimes that
I get what you're saying there.
You know, vengeance is, you know, God's, I believe that, but, you know, the vengeance will be taken out when they die, you know, and, but what do? You feed them for the rest of their life and take care of them and put them in a little pampered, you know, prison where they're protected, you know, and you wait till they die, and then when they got cancer or something like that, you know, society has to fork the bill for their hospital care and everything, you know, just for them to die in prison.
I wrote so sloppy that it's hard for me to even make out what I said.
I don't know. It bothers me that that's all that we give. You know, people that are busted with marijuana can get a charge like that. You know,
it's crazy because people that can get busted with marijuana and go to jail for life.
Go to jail for life. You know, I think they did away with the 3-strike rule, where, you know, but you can still get a big sentence for getting busted with. I agree with marijuana or anything.
Naomi.
But I don't think that it's a sin. You shouldn't get more time for that than you do than this guy might get for this. You know.
Or busted with chalk. Exactly. Like you could get time for that.
That just costs us a ton of money.
That costs us a lot of money, yeah.
And heartache, money, heartache,
and embarrassment.
Embarrassment. Our kids embarrassed.
So I want to be clear, I've said this from the jump. I'm not saying that a charge means you're guilty, and that's what the judge said as well. You have the right to a fair trial. Is it my opinion that he's guilty? Yes. It's really hard for me to think that he's not with everything that I did here, because his wife clearly knew he had this addiction, right? She knew because she was his accountability buddy on the Covenant Eyes software. So he has this software called Covenant Eyes that his wife gets this report of everything that he's doing on the computer. That way, if he is watching PORN, his wife knows about it. So what happens to that computer? A Linux partition is added onto it. The same password that is used for the Linux partition is used for everything else. His social media accounts, his bank accounts, family social media accounts, everything. So I don't understand how it could be anyone else. Say it was a former employee. So are we supposed to believe that Josh gave this former employee a password that he uses for everything else? Hey, babe.
Yeah.
Could you turn the air off for a little bit? I am so cold.
It's so hot in here.
I'm so cold.
So hot.
Yeah, Katie's going live, and I'm so aggravated when I see the things that she's tweeting and how mean she's being to people that follow her, because someone said, Katie, you should have put a trigger warning with this because this is stressing me out. I'm a victim. And Katie said, maybe you shouldn't follow me then. Well, Katie, normally you don't cover stuff like this. Teen Mom reality TV stuff ain't this deep and dark most of the time. So maybe this person liked your content. Maybe this person was someone that was a member. Maybe this person sent you super chats. Maybe this person was someone that took up for you on Twitter when people was saying they don't like you, and you just was rude to her. Like, you never know who you're being rude to. So why do that? Oh my God, Elle, I saw someone give her a super chat and she said, yeah, I already said that, Robin. Wow. See, I don't understand. Elle, does he have stipulations to his release? Will he be? Yes. So he can be around his children. He has unlimited access to his children as long as Anna is there. So a lot of people was like, was Anna there? And at first I was like, if she was there, she was under a different name. And I thought maybe that was a possibility. Maybe it was a possibility that she was there just under a different name, so people didn't see that she was there. But really, when I was thinking about it, I'm like, no, Anna wasn't there. No. Anna was instructed, I bet, not to be there, because I'm sure Jim Bob and Josh, they are trying to make Anna believe that he's innocent somehow, that it was a former employee, or he's being set up. So if Anna would have been able to participate in that hearing and hear what they had, I don't think there would have been any way she would have been able to deny it, just like I can't. So I think they probably instructed her not to watch any media about this, not to listen if anybody's messaging her on any social media accounts, disable comments, don't read anything, because they're probably not going to want her to hear what the government has as far as evidence against Josh.
Another thing that I hope they take into account that really bothers me is, like, okay, let's say he had some addiction or whatever, and he was struggling with it. Well, he had every means, and they put every means in place for him to get away from it, to break away from it. And he did everything that he possibly could do to get around those means, you know, allegedly from the evidence and what they talked about in court. He did everything he possibly could do to get around those means.
What you doing?
Don't you wrestle with me, girl.
What you doing, stinky butt?
I'm baby these.
Okay. You can play with those.
Let's go watch Peppa Pig or Titus.
So yeah, I definitely think that, you know, when I made the decision earlier today to do this, I was like, this ain't gonna be, like, I'm not doing this to bash Katie. Do I like Katie? Absolutely not. Is it for any other reason than the way that she treats people? I don't like her because I feel like she uses her platform. Sonny. Sonny. What are you doing? What are you doing? I feel like she uses her platform and she cares more about the money than the victims. I've seen her bash victims. I don't want to get on here and be like, but when I'm seeing people say, oh, it must have been talked about at the hearing that this is the stuff that Josh was seeing. Like, they must have said that at the hearing and that's how Katie knows. No. No. It was never, no, that's not what was said. So I just want you guys to know. So when you see her post something, this is what you can know for sure, is that they only talked about the amount of files, they listed the sites, and they talked about 2 videos, and they did bring up ages. But they did not go into specific details about anything other than 2 videos. And even that, it wasn't extremely in-depth. I mean, it was terrible. 2 girls believed to be between the ages of 7 and 9, nude, on a bed, male enters the picture, and he abuses, you know, essays on one of the girls. And then another one girl believed to be between the age 7 and 9, naked on the bed, camera facing where it could see every bit of her, you know. So thing is people ask the same questions because some people, when you first start, you may have 200 people in your chat, but then 20 minutes into it, you may have 800 people in your chat. So then people are, you know what I'm saying? Like, people don't hear what you've already said. I'm not going to look up Peter Scully because that's literally the way that Josh got caught. Josh got caught by looking this stuff up, and I'm not going to even take a chance. Maybe it's harmless just to type in Peter Scully, but I don't want nothing like that on any of my devices because I don't want my kids to come across a name and be like, who is this? I don't want it to set off some alarm. I don't want to be red flagged. I'm just going to listen to what the courts tell me, you know. You don't become a federal judge without tons of experience as a judge on lower courts. Yeah, he was on the dark web. If Anna knows something is happening to those kids and doesn't protect them, regardless of their religion or cult beliefs, she is equally as culpable, and those kids will end up in DHS custody. I agree. I would hope to God, it is my prayer that nothing is happening to those children. And I feel like those kids would be, they wouldn't talk if it has. And the government did say they wanted the kids to be evaluated, and the judge did not grant that at the time, but I think that's because she can't right now, maybe. I don't know. She was like, due process, like this has to go in an order. And I guess they have to get like a warrant for that. And also, like, they kind of need Anna to work with them a little bit. But and I think the government's going to have the children evaluated. I think that's definitely going to happen, but they have to have certain things happen beforehand. They have to go about this a certain way. The judge just couldn't say right then, yes, I guess. But I think they could request that Anna bring them in to be evaluated. I'm going to say that she's not going to do that. I feel like this is going to definitely be against their beliefs to be examined in any way possible because they would have to be
Wow.
examined. What, baby? What you got?
That will come out.
The Roku remote. So I think they're gonna have to get a warrant and go about it that way. Yes, baby. Don't come in the view of the camera, baby. There's like 800 people on here right now. What is it, monkey butt? No, go over there. Hey, Sean. Mommy's working right now. I'll be done in just a minute. Okay. You working?
No.
What you doing? You watching me work?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, babe. She's trying to come into the view of the camera, and there's like 800 people on here
Okay,
right now.
I'm sorry. I was peeing.
No,
It's okay.
people on it.
Come on, baby. I don't know. She wants to be back here with you today.
I'm not gonna be on much longer.
Come on, baby girl. Let's go watch Titus. We gotta let Mama work, okay?
Yeah, Mommy's got to work, baby.
All right.
I can't.
You see it? Tell everybody bye.
Tell everybody, hey.
Say
Wave
bye
to
bye,
'em.
guys. Say please subscribe to my mommy.
Be kind to my mommy.
That's right.
Okay, baby girl.
Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Mama.
Say bye.
No, I was telling you thank you, Mama. You guys, she's so funny. So the other day, she was in the bathroom with me. I was getting out of the shower, and she noticed the scar on my belly, right, from my C-section. She was like, "What's that?" And I said, "That's where, you know, they had to take you out of my belly when I was pregnant with you." And bye, Allie. What's inappropriate? I work, and I have a 3-year-old here. Normally, I don't allow her to come into my view, but her dad was in the bathroom. So I told her, you know, that's where when I had you, they had to cut my belly to get you out as a baby. She said, "I'm sorry for that, Mommy." And I said, "What?" She said, "I'm sorry I got in your belly." And I said, "Oh, no, don't be sorry. God put you there. It's okay." So it's so funny. Come over here, Sonny. So, I am sorry for that. I normally, you guys, this is my work. I view this as my work, and I always try to keep it to where it's as professional as possible. But we do have a dog. We do have our 3-year-old here every day, and I mean, our house is decent size, but sometimes she gets away. My daughter said, "Mommy, I don't want to go back in your belly." Okay, I said, neither do I. Yeah. In my opinion, KJ gave the defense grounds for dismissal due to her conduct and disrespecting the court's laws. Constitutional rights allows a fair and impartial trial. You know, that's something, yeah, like I agree that she could really be affecting this in a way that she don't want to be. My child is 3, and she was only in here for a short period. My child does not, and I've been abbreviating things, so my child has not been in here for anything that's dark. I'm not sure if you've been on for a minute, but yeah, I don't know. I would have to imagine you're one of those parents that has never said anything remotely in front of your children. Do you have children? I don't want to be rude, but I mean, my 3-year-old is here while I work every day, and her dad tries to keep her in there because this is my job, but sometimes stuff happens. Sonny, my boobs are gonna pop out if you keep on, and we don't need that to happen. Don't lick my face. I'm not apologizing for that because I think whoever that is just being. My child is not. Did you hear me? Because you're really about to take me off, Miss Allie. My child is not. Did you hear me telling her dad, "Hey, come get her"? Because I don't want her to be on this. What did you expect me to do? End this live? I'm sorry. This is my job. She walked in for a short time. I said, "Tell the people to subscribe to my channel," and then her dad come and got her. Like, chill out. Miss Perfect. We have Miss Perfect in the building. Everybody give Miss Perfect a round of applause because her children are perfect and she is a perfect mom. That doesn't exist. Get off my chat because you're really about to take me off. Yes, this person named Allie is mad because Kennedy walked in here for like 5 seconds. And I really don't like to be rude to people, but you just have to use common sense, honestly. Like if you're watching a live stream that I started off as, I'm serious, like I'm trying to be professional, but then my daughter walked in on, like, you have enough sense to acknowledge that was a mistake. My husband was in the bathroom at the time. Like you have enough sense to acknowledge that, right? Right? Um, yeah, you guys only saw her forehead and heard her voice. But this is my job. I do this every day from about 11 to about 3 o'clock. I'm back here and I'm working, and my daughter is in the front of the house with my husband. Yeah. But anyways, you're an idiot, Allie. Do you not understand? Oh, I'm getting so hyped up right now because my intention was for my child to be in the front of the house when I had this discussion. They was not even here when I started this chat. My 3-year-old was not here when I started this live stream, okay? Okay, KJ? Because that's who you have to be that ridiculous. It was an accident. I can't get up. I'm not going to stop it because I knew my husband was going to come get her. Allie must be jealous that she's not as good of a mom as me. Because I am a good mom. I'm not perfect. Nobody is. Accidents happen. And Allie is literally... Yeah, I'm going to have to scrap this whole live. I'm not going to. I apologize if you're watching this on replay. I really apologize. The reason I wanted to get on here was strictly to talk about the things that I've seen that Katie's putting out, because people are believing that it come from the court. Katie, she posted that the judge said, if you violate any of these, you will go to jail for I'll add 10 years on to your sentence to whatever you got. That was not said. Something around about like that was said, but that was not said. It was strictly, you could face further charges. AR-15, be gone, Allie. Elle, you're doing perfectly. Thank you so much. And depending, like if it's a misdemeanor, it could be this amount of time. If it's a felony, this amount of time. But it was never said. The judge did say, don't make me regret this. I love Wooden Eagle. You guys always have my back so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's it's kind of tough to work from home because kids just do what they want to do sometimes. So
Is somebody talking crap?
yeah, because Kennedy ran in here.
I'm gonna tell you something.
No, it's fine. I don't want to ruin the chat any further.
No,
I don't want to ruin
I keep my kid up there away from all this stuff. I promise you, our kids. I don't watch rated R movies in front of our kids. We don't listen to rap music in front of our kids or any kind of music that has cussing or inappropriate talk in it, which is more than 99.9% of all Americans do.
Babe,
most
he's
people,
hitting my thing.
Most people will sit there and, sit there and watch some filthy movie right there with their kids in the living room with them and not pay no attention to it. We take care of our kids and we keep our kids away from filth that they don't need to be exposed to. I'm not going to chain my 3-year-old down or shut her in a room. If she wants to run back here and say hey to her mama while her mama's on a live stream in the house, then that's what's going to happen. And she can run back here and say hey, and then I'm going to try to get her back up there to watch TV, and I'm up there with playing cat. What's the name of that cat game on my phone?
Yeah, I know it's your Angela.
So ain't nobody got no right to say nothing about her coming back here saying something to her mama. This is her house. We're not going to restrict her in our house. We're not going to chain her down, lock her in a room. I'm not going to tackle her if she tries to run back here. Her mama's back here. She's 3 years old. She comes back here and says, hey.
Finish her. Finish her. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey,
here, take Sonny. I'm sorry about that, you guys. I don't have, bad trolls, really, that come in here that much. I really think Allie was probably just a troll trying to get me out of character, and she did. She did for a second, but back to, if you guys have any questions about anything that you've seen, I'll answer them because I did. I took notes, and you know, I know some people are like, I think taking notes was against what the judge said. I don't think so, because like I said, media outlets were there, and I guarantee they had to write notes in order to even do their articles on what happened. So if writing notes was against it, sorry, I didn't do it on purpose. I was just trying to make sure I had everything so I could relay it back to you guys about what happened. Was it said that a child was 18 months old? Lynn, okay, so one of the files that was downloaded, the agent said that some of the victims was as young as 18 months old up to the age of, I believe he said 7. So that was said. It didn't say there was one 18-month-old. It said there were victims as young as 18 months old, which means it could have been multiple toddlers, multiple little ones. You know, I think the trial is going to be viewable. I believe so. Happy early Mother's Day from Night Runner. Thank you so much. Oh, I thought it could be. But I'll find that information out. I'll find that information out and I will, you know, let you guys know. Yeah. Well, I did hear the judge say, like, when the judge said that, she said, listen, you guys, and it was after we come back from a recess. Like, after we come back from recess, she says, listen, I need to reiterate. I know this is a very public case because of Josh Duggar's family and them being on TV. And I'm paraphrasing, it's not verbatim, but she's like, you know, they've been on TV. I know there's a lot of interest in this case. So I just want to remind you guys, everyone, no screenshots, no recording, no memorializing the hearing because of who it is. You know, we're not doing that. That's against the rules. But I thought notes was okay because I didn't take the notes to memorialize. I took the notes so I would, I mean, it was a fast-paced situation. It was. Like, the questions were being asked pretty fast. Objection, hearsay, objection, line of questioning, you know. So I was like, blah, 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 blah. That's because reporting of the violations were done. So, I don't think, but maybe so. I just thought it was filming and reporting the proceedings in real time on social media or taking screenshots. That's what I thought. So if I did, I didn't do it on purpose. Ignore my ignorance, but is this federal or state? It is federal, and federal is not the same as state. So there was about, it did show a number, and there was around 75 people in there that it showed up on my screen. It said 70, like at first it said 73, then at one point it said 78. So from what it's my understanding is he didn't have to pay a bail. And someone can correct me if I'm wrong. Moody66, happy Mother's Day, Elle Bee. You are such a wonderful mama. Thank you so much. Thank you guys. You guys have no idea how awesome it feels when you guys have my back like you guys do, because that is just awesome. Like when someone comes in being crazy, I try not to get hyped up. I don't, because I come out of character. Like a lot of people's like, Elle Bee ain't this little nice person that you guys think she is. I am until you get me out of character, you know, just like anybody else. But I try not to get out of character because I don't like it when I do. But I really appreciate how much you guys have my back when stuff like that happens. Yeah, JJ, I just don't understand why she's putting that stuff out there, because it's making people believe that it come from the hearing, and it didn't. That Amber chick, thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate that so much. Yeah, my memory is not that great, and I'm not familiar with court hearings. I've only been to a few, and I've never been in front of a judge. Well, I take that back. I was in front of a judge one time for a restraining order, um, but I don't know the legal jargon. Like, even reading my notes, there were times I was confused. I was like, what does this mean? So, you know. But if I would not have taken notes, I would not have been able to tell you guys half of what happened. Why would Jim Bob want a predator loose on his property with all the children? He would be helping to get Josh held accountable. I think this is making JB look very guilty too. So, okay. Josh is not going to be on Jim Bob's property. Josh is going to be with a family friend. But the religion that they're raised in, they don't trust the government. They think things should be handled within their church. So that's why when this first happened, they did not report it, because they don't trust law enforcement to do things in a godly way. You know what I'm saying? In a godly way. Like, so they report this to their elders. I guess they call them elders. They report it to their church officials, and they tend to it there. Yeah, it was my son's computer, which, okay, so me and my son basically share this computer, to be honest. Like, but I only do work stuff on here, like my YouTube channel, and we have two different accounts. Like, my son has an account when he's on the computer that he's using for his schoolwork, or if he just wants to do whatever. Like, he has his own account, and Mama has her account where I do my schoolwork. So when I was on his computer during the hearing, I was signed into my account. It was just into his Zoom. I didn't do anything on his account. Like, I didn't even do anything on his computer except watch a hearing. Like, my notes were in my book, my own book, so I don't know why. Hey, Sean, I don't know why it would be an issue that I was on a computer that's in my home that my son has an account on. That's just someone trying to make it into something else. Like, oh, Elle Bee watched the court hearings from her son's tablet. No, it was from a computer that my son does use. It's like mine and his. But so where was other people's kids when they watched the court hearing? You know what I'm saying? Like, none of my kids were here to hear it. Like, my kids did get home from school, but Sean had them stay. They actually went outside for a while. Some of my boys were able to get into their room, but, like, I'm in Eli's room. And he didn't come back here. He was outside playing football. Yeah, my son couldn't see it. Where was everybody else's kids? Probably in the basement. Yeah.
Hey, did you call me?
Yeah, babe, my phone, the battery's about to die, but I'm about to get off.
Oh, here comes Kenny.
Okay, hold on, baby. I'm about to get off. I was just gonna see if you bring me a charger, but I'm actually about to get off. If anybody has any other questions on anything that has been put out there about what was said, please let me know. Ask now, because we're only gonna stay on for just a few more minutes. How do you get into the Zoom? I just emailed the court and said, hey, my name is this, and I would like permission to view the hearing tomorrow. And they said, okay, here is the link. Easy as that. Thank you, Saneed Kazan? Thank you. Do you think Josh getting bail is an example of white privilege? I really think the judge, us sitting on the outside, we're like, what? I didn't think he would get bail. I really didn't. But I think the judge really kind of went by the law, and this is all, like, he's not been found guilty. He's been a law-abiding citizen because he's never been charged with anything thus far, and he has known about it, and he hasn't left the state, or, I think it was a hard decision, but she really went into a lot of it. Being Baby Brooklyn, I don't think any money had to be put up about for the bail. I think in federal court, I think you can actually get out. Someone could tell me, and I know there's someone that's in the chat because they said it earlier. Federal court, you're kind of let out with stipulations, you know, but you don't have to pay anything, from what I understand. Well, so it is. I guess they're out. They are signed out on their own recognizance. Is I guess what it is. You don't have to give your name. You can put in whatever name you want. So, like, there was a person that I know that just used a period because she did not want to put her name on there, and then she was kicked out. And I think, pretty sure. So when the person called back and was like, "Hey, KJ's still live tweeting," they're like, "Well, we kicked her out." They're like, "Let's see. Okay, we think maybe she's in on a different name." And then this person that I know got kicked out. So we kind of believe that maybe they were trying to kick Katie out again when they noticed that Katie was still tweeting. Yeah, I've been falsely arrested, and it's, you know, not fun. She can't even act right in one Zoom meeting. Yeah. Emily said he did, but I can't find anything else about it. Usually it tells the amount. I'm confused. Yeah, I think he was only released on conditions. I think that's. I never heard anything about an amount. It was never said you can be released if you can make this bail amount. So I think it was only conditions. She actually said, like, once you get your ankle monitor and all of that is set, like, you'll be good to go. He has to pay for the GPS tracking monitor. So yeah. All right, so we're going to go ahead and get off. I'm so sorry for the craziness. I'm so sorry that it went off track for a little bit. I apologize to you guys. I didn't mean it to be like that. I just wanted to get on here. If you guys see anything else that is put out there that you're wondering, hey, was that in the court hearing? You can tag me on Twitter, come to one of my videos and ask. And I'll let you know, because this situation is bad enough. We don't, you know, like, we don't know exactly what everything is. I would advise people not to look it up, just because that's how Josh was caught, was from looking it up. There are literally people that work for the police department that just sit on the web all day waiting to see people looking up certain sites. And when they do, you know, they get the IP address, they find out who it is, and then they start an investigation. Yeah, she has not admitted that she got kicked out. She said that there was technical difficulties. That's what she is saying, that she had technical difficulties, but nobody else had technical difficulties. The only people that had technical difficulties was the people getting kicked out and couldn't get back in. So it was smooth sailing for me. So yeah. The judge has to be extremely cautious not to violate civil rights, or the whole thing can get tossed, and we don't want that. Yeah. Why was he allowed a jitterbug phone, and why a jitterbug phone to begin with? Because a jitterbug phone is one of those old phones. I don't think you can text on them. I don't think you can't get on the internet. You can only make calls. So, yeah. So I think that's why they said he could get out. They said he could leave for church. She said, go to Target, get a jitterbug phone. But something was brought up. So he can go to Target to get a jitterbug phone, but what if there's minors in Target? Then what? Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Technical difficulties when a band member is leaving my show. I've said it before. If we are allowed to watch it, I'm going to try to. Yeah, so they said he could go to church. But if minors are at church, can he go to church? I don't know, because she said no minors, you know, so I don't know. It would be confusing to me, right? Because if I was Josh, but if I was Josh, I'd be like, okay, I can go to church today. And then you show up at church and there's all these minors running around and you'd be like, oh, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here because she said no minors.
Well, see, the thing was, she read off the standard probation bail rules, and then she gave him additional rules. So you're not allowed to go anywhere but work, church. You know, that's standard probation rules.
Okay.
And then she gave him additional rules. I was in here when she was talking about that, and the additional rules were you're not allowed to be around minors. So she even said, so if I was you, I would plan my stuff out to where I did not violate anything. I would not go to birthday parties.
Yes, she said specifically none of your nieces or nephews.
Yeah, nieces,
like
nephew, birthday parties, nothing. So she read off the standard bail slash probation slash parole rules.
What are you eating?
You know, you don't just run around. You have a curfew. No drugs, no alcohol.
No, she said Target. She said when you get out, you go to Target, you buy a jitterbug phone, you take it to your probation officer, get it all worked up. So she said Target. I don't know what Target.
She said you can get one from Target, but you know, it can send somebody to Target to get it for him. I think she was just telling him where
to get it. Yeah.
Jitterbug phone was, but she specifically said for him to plan that stuff out to where he was not around any minors at all.
Sonny Bum, what you doing now there,
So I think that's what it was. I mean, he had the standard rules.
Yes, I guess that's right. Standard rules, but then it was like, hey, no minors. So really, the standard rules, he can't even.
Sonny, you're about to knock that over. Come here, buddy.
He's been doing that the whole time.
I don't know why. I don't know what his deal is. All right. He's like right in the middle of it. I can't grab him because he's
in the middle.
The
All right, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and get off. Sonny is literally crawling in between my light and where I hold my phone and everything. I apologize. This video was all over the place, but this is kind of who I am. This is what my life is like. I try to keep my lives as professional as possible, but sometimes kids happen.
Not every day's like this.
Not every day.
No, most days me and her hang out and I do schoolwork up there.
Yeah.
It's just me and her hanging out up there in the living room.
I'm going to go ahead and get off, though, because I feel like my phone's going to die any second. Thank you all for coming in and hanging out with me. I hope I made some things clear on what was and was not said in the hearing. I want to once again say that does not mean that that's not what was on the files. It just means they did not break that down in the thing, so I don't know how Katie would know it unless Katie looked it up herself, which that would not be the smartest thing to do, but whatever floats her boat. Yeah. If you guys have any other questions, you can reach me on Twitter or leave me a question here. All the trolls, we hope you stub your toe. See you guys later. Goodbye, everyone.